What is your pound for pound top 10 now that Vasily Lomachenko has been beaten by Teofimo Lopez and knocked off his perch? Knuckleheads, welcome to the Fighters Rep, where we give you free fights, interviews in the fight game, and fight commentary from the mind of a promoter. This was a tough one for me. I had to sit down, really think it over, and decide to myself, what is the new pecking order of the top 10 pound for pound boxers in the world? Of course, this is just going to be an opinion, so don't kill me for this, you guys. But, I sat down and I thought about it. I saw a couple colleagues in the fight game and a couple different organizations put forth their new pound for pound now that Vasily Lomachenko has been knocked off of his perch. So I thought that I would go ahead and give you mine. And of course, this is all hypothetical. This is all opinions. But I wanted to let you know that what I'm taking into consideration in making this pound for pound list is not just skills and talent, but also the resume, what they've accomplished, in boxing and their ability. Also, I kind of like to scale the ability. For instance, I say, well, what Tyson Fury does as far as movement goes, he's got to get a little bit more credit for that because he is 6'9", 300 pounds, right? So, a guy like Vasily Lomachenko, I expect all that movement, maybe not that much, but I expect him to be able to move easier, whereas a guy like Tyson Fury, you don't expect him to move like that. So, without further ado, here's my top 10 pound for pound list, and I'm going to start with number 10 and head towards 1. So, at number 10, I got David Benavidez, man. Young kid. I think he's only like 23 years old. Just an absolute beast. One of the youngest champions, I think, in boxing. Fantastic fighter, man. When he's got his head screwed on, the kid is just unbeatable. And I look forward to him keeping that head screwed on and continuing to move forward up the ranks of this pound for pound list. So I got David Benavidez as number 10. Here's a guy I didn't see on anybody else's top 10, and I felt like, man, at the very least, this guy's got to be number 9, and that's Josh Taylor, the 140-pound champion, Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor blew me away in his fight with Regis Prograis, which was a fantastic fight against a fantastic fighter in Prograis, who, can easily be an honorable mention in the top pound for pound lists all over the world. Fantastic fight. Josh Taylor just comes off as having skill, tenacity. He's kind of got it all. He's kind of got this toughness about him. He's kind of got it all, man. And fight at range. He could fight in close. And I think he definitely deserved a spot on my top 10 list. So I put Josh Taylor as number 9, man. Fair play to him. Number 8, he drops from number 1 for me is Vasily Lomachenko. After his loss to Teofimo Lopez, I'm not going to partake in the whole he's a hype job, narrative. I think Vasily Lomachenko is still one of the best fighters in the world. He fought a guy that was slightly bigger than him, but that's no excuse. They were around the same size, and they were competing at the same weight. And Lomachenko has competed at that weight in the past in the Olympics and whatnot. So all credit to Teofimo Lopez. I just think Lomachenko maybe got started a bit late. Lopez had a great game plan, and Lomachenko got beat. But Lomachenko still belongs on this list and still one of the best boxers that you'll ever see. Alexander Usyk is my number 7. Unified the cruiserweight division. A beast throughout his career. Beat a guy in Murat Gassiev, who is an absolute beast. Also beat Myris Bradis. These are very good guys that, don't get the recognition they deserve because they're cruiserweights. But I know at the very least, Gassiev is moving up to heavyweight. I think he'll add some excitement to heavyweight. And now that Usyk's in heavyweight, I think we'll see him make some noise. Technically, he's probably the best boxer there. It's just that, with regards to size, he may not be able to make it all the way to the top because he's got guys like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and so on and so forth waiting for him, who can also box. But nonetheless, Alexander Usyk a fantastic fighter with crazy skill, agility. He's kind of got it all. Number 6. Man, this guy is a personal favorite of mine. The monster from Chechnya fighting out of Canada, Artur Beterbiev. I mean, we've watched Beterbiev just dominate everybody, and in his last performance, he put on a virtuoso performance against the likes of Gvozdyk, who was Teddy Atlas's guy, who was the champ. Beterbiev, took one step closer to unifying the titles at light heavyweight by beating him. And to be honest, Beterbiev looks nearly unbeatable. I mean, I think the only guy that's got a shot to beat him anywhere near that division is Dmitry Bivol. And, he's going to need a lot of luck on his side and a lot of good skill and to put on the fight of his life to beat Artur Beterbiev, who's just got, solid technique and vicious power in both hands, knows what he's doing in there, and looks like he's got heart for days, man. If you haven't already, check out Artur Beterbiev's push-ups, man. The most impressive thing I think I've seen as far as working out in any sport. Number 5, he moves up after his amazing win, and that's Teofimo Lopez, man. You can no longer say that the young Honduran-American doesn't belong on this list. He's made my top 5, and I got him at number 5 right now, man. The kid's a beast. Number 4, Errol Spence Jr. And this one is interesting to me because we're going to have to see how he looks in that Danny Garcia fight and determine whether he stays at the number 4 position or moves north or south. But, I do love Errol Spence's career so far. He's pretty much dominated everybody outside of a very rugged and tough Sean Porter. But even in that fight, I think it was pretty clear Errol Spence was the rightful winner of that fight. I think he took over the fight in the last couple rounds or so. But, he showed that he can outdog the dog in Sean Porter. He's also shown, boxing skills against the likes of Kell Brook, who's going to be taking on Terence Crawford soon. No doubt being used as a barometer. And Mikey Garcia, who even though is much smaller, is a great boxer, who Errol Spence completely dominated. And so on and so forth, man. Spence has just looked very strong to me, very good. And I hope he comes back at 100%, or if not better than what he was before. We'll have to wait to see what this accident did to him. Number 3 on the list, knuckleheads, I have the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. Listen, when you're 6'9" and you can move like that, and you go to Dusseldorf in Vladimir Klitschko's backyard and beat him, and then you come to the United States after, 2.5, 3 years of snorting coke and doing all kinds of crazy shit, and you go in there and you get robbed against Wilder, and you do the rematch, and you beat him and knock him out, if you also look at his fights in the past, his second fight against Derek Chisora, even his fight against Cunningham where against SS Cunningham, where he was struggling and got dropped, man, he still found a way to win. He said, to hell with boxing, I'm going to gut this one out. He did the same things against Otto Wallin. So Tyson Fury, man, he's got skills. He's got a resume, one of the best, if not the best resume in heavyweight boxing. And in my opinion, if he beats Anthony Joshua, there's not much left for him to do in the fight game, and he probably moves up a little bit more on this list. But right now I got him at number 3. Number 2, this was a hard one for me. I was going back and forth between number 1 and number 2. But number 2, I settled for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is a guy, in my opinion, who's got all the skills and a pretty decent resume. The only thing holding him back from being number 1 on my list is the entire situation, because of the way boxing works, where there are different promoters, that's not allowing him to really test himself. We haven't seen Terence Crawford get in there against the best guys. He fought some tough guys. But, I want to see him in there with Errol Spence. I wanted to see him in there with Sean Porter and Keith Thurman and all these other guys. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Also, I didn't love his last performance against Kavaliauskas. You know, watching him get dropped in that fight, I thought he got knocked down in that fight, you know, was a little troubling for me. You know, I think if a guy like Kavaliauskas can knock you down, you know, you may have to shore up some things. But that being said, he's probably still one of the best technical boxers in the game. He's beaten everybody they've put in front of him, and I got to at least put him at number 2. And number 1, as you all might guess, on my pound-for-pound boxing list is Canelo Alvarez. I mean, he's just been doing it for too long at too high a level and has been too consistent. Now, I've trashed Canelo a couple times on this channel because I thought, for example, that Sergey Kovalev was a cherry-picked fight, and I thought it was a bullshit fight. He went after the weakest link at the light heavyweight division just so he could say he won another, you know, championship at another weight class. And I also didn't like it because he's got a whole lot of guys down at middleweight and super middleweight that he still needs to, you know, figure out, and divisions that he needs to clear out before he, you know, he thinks about moving up and down like that. But, you know, he did it, whatever. That being said, you know, he's been doing this for so long, you guys. And he's been doing it at a high level. He's fought everybody, including Floyd Mayweather, who, even though Floyd absolutely took him to school, I do think, you know, Canelo was still a young pup at the time. And, you know, it didn't really hurt his legacy that much because he was still so young. And he's still, 29 years old, not even 30 years old. I mean, he's still learning on the job. Didn't have much of an amateur career. And I think, you know, he may not have even reached his prime yet. And he's already, you know, looking as good as he looks. So I'm going to have to say, for right now, the way I'm feeling in the present, this is my top 10. Again, Canelo number 1, Crawford number 2, Fury number 3, Spence number 4, Teofimo Lopez number 5, Better BF 6, Usyk 7, Lomachenko 8, Josh Taylor number 9, and David Benavidez number 10. Knuckleheads, give me your top 10 pound for pound. Put in the comment list below. I look forward to seeing it. Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation if you haven't already. And I haven't asked for you guys. You know, I haven't asked for you guys. We're approaching 5,000 subscribers. I appreciate your support. I appreciate everything you guys have done. I'm going to ask for you guys to please support the channel by purchasing a FightersRep shirt, hoodie, mask, or tank top. Take a picture of yourself with it on and post it on our Instagram. We'll repost it, man, as a sign of our appreciation. Anything you guys purchase here gets reinvested not only back into this channel, but also into building the greatest striking promotion on the planet. That's what we're aiming to do here. We've got 5 events lined up for next year. We put our free fights right here on YouTube. And I'm working hard, man, so I'd appreciate you guys, you know, helping out. Shirts are only like 20 bucks or something like that. We've got hoodies, maybe just a little bit more. And everything's in the link below. And your support is appreciated, man. Thank you, guys. We'll talk soon. I look forward to seeing your lists.